Meet Melanie, a model student who recently graduated at the top of her class. Through years of hard work and with a supportive family behind her, she earned her spot as class valedictorian. But what might not be obvious at first glance is how Big Brothers Big Sisters helped her do it. Until you meet her principal, Mr. Chris Ashbrook. As a single parent, Chris's mom enrolled him in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program to bring a positive male role model into his life. Matched with big brother Doug, that decision so many years ago ultimately changed Chris's life for the better. Now, as principal of a renowned Kansas private school, Chris regularly draws on his experiences in Big Brothers Big Sisters to relate to his students. Experiences that have given him a unique perspective and compassionate understanding of our state's future leaders. It's made him a better principal, and our kids are better for it. Help start something for a child in need today by visiting kansasbigs.org.
Doug and I met when I was 7. Seemed like a nice guy. At the time, obviously, I had no idea that 33 years later, we'd still be friends. And some of my earliest memories with Doug, he was very supportive. He'd come out, watch soccer games, basketball games, coached a few of those teams. We went to movies, listened to music. He was a bowler, so we went bowling. That was new to me. You know, just things that a kid and his dad might do, or a kid and an older brother. But very early on also, he involved me with his family. He showed me the importance of working hard. He was always working hard, completing the job, getting the job done, bringing me into his workplace. I got to see that firsthand. And so, you know, as I got into my career, I knew I was going to have to work hard, and he was a great example of that. Doug's definitely been the biggest influence that I've had in my life. I've had a lot of great people in my life, but Doug is no doubt the biggest influence. What I did learn from Doug was how important it was for young people, at the time myself, to have somebody who they could call a friend, who they could laugh with, who they could respect, and knew that that older person, the adult, respected them back. So I think as I went into education, that was certainly something I wanted to give to any of the students that I work with. I just can't imagine how things would have turned out differently, but they would have. I wouldn't have had the self-confidence I have today. I wouldn't have the people skills that I have today, and those were just learned by watching. And so to try to imagine my life without him in it, I don't know. I don't think it's possible.
I took Chris on when he was 7 years old. He had a little brother and his mother. Chris and I became so close, and he became so close to our family. So then did his little brother, and so did his. It's been a magical relationship our whole life. You know, there's times when you look back at those decisions that rise to the top of being considered profound, like who you're going to spend your life with, children, your career. And in my world, one of the most profound decisions I ever made was getting involved with Big Brothers and finding Chris Ashbrook, because as I'm in the city and working in my business, and I run in or talking to families that have children, and they'll say, well, they go to this school or that school, one of the schools that Chris has touched, I will say, well, by the way, do you know Mr. Ashbrook? And the answer is just an unequivocal, absolutely. And he's a great guy. And that gives me the ability to open the window and say, well, guess what? I was his big brother. And that brings me lots of pleasure.